Today we're going to be making the roasted vegetable couscous, a really versatile dish that you can make as a side to a main course dinner. You could serve it with chicken or steak or any sort of other meat, or you can have it as a lunch, which we're planning on doing today. So the roasted couscous salad is a variety of roasted vegetables, whatever you've got in your fridge, and the couscous, and we mix it with a salad dressing. So before we start, I'm just going to wash my hands, go through the usual process. We wash our hands for 20 seconds, making sure cleaning wrists, around the thumbs and in between the fingers. We also make sure that we're wearing an apron. If you have long hair, tie that back. And safety as well, make sure that you've got no hazards in your kitchen that you're going to trip over, and also making sure you've got a nice, clean, organised work area. As normal, I have all my ingredients on a tray to keep that organised for me, to help me work tidily, and all of my equipment is laid out to the side. So, we've already weighed out the couscous, as you can see here. So this is in a heat-proof dish, ready to just have the water added over it once we've made the stock. And then I've got my variety of vegetables. So the vegetables today, I've got pepper, sweet potato, mushrooms, half an onion, aubergine and a courgette. And these are just things that I had in my fridge. A couple of things obviously left over from other meals. So this is a perfect dish to get rid of leftovers. So we want to put them all into quite big chunky pieces, all very evenly sized, with the exception of the sweet potato. Do that slightly smaller, as it's a harder vegetable, it takes a little bit longer to cook. So what we always use is claw grip or bridge hold. So we're going to go with claw grip just to keep hold of the onion, take the top off, and obviously I'm popping my waste just into a colander again to keep my work surface tidy. Then bridge hold, I'm just going to put 2 cuts into my half an onion, not all the way through, just to separate it so I can make nice chunky pieces of onion to be roasted. So all of that is going to go onto my baking tray so that I keep my chopping board clear and my waste away. Mushrooms, claw grip, just going to pop the stalks away, and then again just into nice chunky pieces with bridge hold for those to also be roasted. Pepper, very similar. I'm going to chop it in half, remove the seeds through just pulling the seeds out into the waste bowl, long strips, and then into chunks, again using what we refer to as claw grip. Any bits at the skin is still stuck together, just detach that, spreading them around. Sweet potato, slightly thinner chunks, cutting through, and then depending on the size, you can either cut them in half or quarter them. But as I said, just slightly smaller as they take longer to cook. Aubergine, taking the top off it with the claw grip, putting it into big circular discs like so, and then again into quarters, maybe 6s as it goes slightly wider. And then the courgette, top and tail. And these can, if it's like this one, it can just go into whole discs as so, quite a soft vegetable. If it's a larger courgette, then you can just cut them in half like this. So I will come back to you when I've prepared the rest of my vegetables and we are ready to pop them in the oven. So now I've got all of the vegetables ready for roasting. I'm going to preheat the oven first of all. That's going to go on to 200 degrees or gas mark 6. And now what I'm going to do is prepare these vegetables for roasting, and we're going to do the couscous just while the oven preheats. So olive oil, just going to drizzle it. It's about 2 or 3 tablespoons. Just want to be giving a nice coating of oil to help with the cooking of the vegetables. And then we're going to do some salt and pepper, so we're just going to season this. So pepper first, and then a quick seasoning of salt. Now that is ready to go in, so I'm just going to set that to one side whilst I show you the couscous. So in the jug, I've just crumbled a vegetable stock cube into here, and I've already boiled the kettle. So I'm going to pour this in, and I'm looking for about 400. What we want to always do is try and bend down to the actual height of the jug so that you're getting an accurate measurement. Obviously it's boiling water, so you need to keep it away from the work surface, and you need to keep a secure handle on the jug. We want to then stir that around just using a fork, which I'm going to use to fluff up the couscous in a few minutes. And you're just going to use that fork just to mix it around until that all dissolves so that you get the flavours. By putting the stock cube in with the water, you're not only cooking the couscous, but you're also going to be adding those lovely flavours as well. You can use a chicken stock cube if you want to add extra flavour if you're serving it with chicken, but we're going to do this as a vegetarian dish today, so we are using vegetable stock. So 275 grams of couscous, and then we're just going to pour the stock over the top, making sure that all that stock goes in, so there's no lumps left at the bottom, so you get all the flavour. Just make sure the couscous is completely covered, and then we're going to set that to one side for about 5 minutes. It will absorb all of the liquid as it starts to swell. It'll take on the water as it heats, and then obviously there'll be no liquid left and we'll be able to fluff that up. So now is the time for this to go into the oven. So using my oven glove on one hand, I'm going to open the door and pop this in, and then we will be back with you once the couscous is ready. So now that we are on to waiting for all the vegetables to go into the oven and to be roasted, what I'm going to do is just show you our additional ingredient. We're using halloumi today. So be careful with halloumi, they're generally in backpack packets, and what you need to just make sure is that you are opening it over the sink because there is excess juices. So you just cut the bag open, remove the cheese, but as I said, just make sure that you are over a sink just so that the excess liquid goes in the sink and not all over your chopping board. So what I'm going to do is I've got a griddle pan, and I'm going to slightly fry the cheese on both sides just to add colour and to just cook the outside. So I'm just cutting it into thick wedges to be able to be fried easily, and then we will add that to the top of the couscous when the couscous is finished. So 3 or 4 at a time, I'm just going to be lightly frying these. All I've done is put a little bit of olive oil in the bottom. If they do snap, you'll notice with halloumi it's got cracks in it quite often, that's quite common. You just have slightly smaller pieces. So I'm just going to be using tongs just to turn them over, and then these will be ready to be added at the end. So once these are all done, the roasted vegetables are completed, I'll show you how to put the dish together. Now that the vegetables are completely roasted, you can see here they've slightly shrunk in size, but lots of lovely colours, and if you could actually smell the roasted vegetables, all the different mixtures, now that there's lots of caramelisation happening, they smell delicious. So these are just going to set to the side just for a minute to cool down. What I'm going to do now is just use a fork. You'll notice now that the couscous has no liquid left in it. So with a fork we are just going to, time going off perfectly, we're just going to fluff up the couscous just to loosen it so there's no lumps. This will just put a little bit of air into it, but it will help it to all combine with the vegetables nice and evenly. So once that's all fluffed up, that's ready to be mixed. What you'll notice here is the halloumi that I griddled before. It's got a lovely nice colour on it now from the griddle pan. All I'm going to do is just dice those into bite-sized pieces. So I'm just cutting each one into quarters. They're near enough in half anyway because they've split, which is fine. And these will be scattered over the top at the end. So vegetables can go into the bowl next. I'll just do that last one. So oven glove as they're still hot. Use mixing spoon, and we are just gradually pouring, very carefully doing this because obviously the baking tray is still hot. With it being a dish that can be served cold, you can leave the vegetables to cool before doing this process, but obviously for the necessity of the video, getting it all done now for you. So that's all mixed in. Remove the fork and then give that a really good stir around, so you combine that so that they are all spread around the couscous. Then I'm going to add in the salad dressing. This one is a favourite of ours. About 2 tablespoons, so a good glug into there. Stir that in, and then I'm going to serve. So when we're serving, we pop it into a dish for everyone to help themselves, or it can go straight into a plate. So just very quickly, pop it into here so you can see the presentation. Lots and lots of different colours from those roasted vegetables. Mixing it all around and then scattering the halloumi over the top, just like so. Enjoy!